Hello everybody, if you could just start slowly making your way to your seats, we'll get this program on the road. We'll have a...
That's how you said what?
Yes, no. Comment regarding our little sign down here. So we'll return to the speeches.
Okay, is everybody kind of getting seated here? Next up, we're gonna have Mr. Edward, Mr. Plod. Kept young Jimmy in line is what I hear. An enthusiastic enforcer of regulations in the Emberton household. Everybody, this is Edward.
I don't need to say then, we've heard it already, that it was always pretty dramatic. And it started off early. My first memory of Jim was as just a half an hour old little baby having his first bath, and at that time we thought, oh, what a cutie. But plenty of things dramatic all along the way, and we've mentioned in our song about Volvo. And I remember him taking me for a test drive, and he was telling me how wonderful this car is, and it was the best car he'd ever had. And he would be holding on to this car for nearly forever, and it was a wonderful thing. And I was kind of in the middle, so kind of interesting to see how he sold it to the different members of the family, because to Mum, it was, this car is fitted with LPG, so it's going to be a lot cheaper to run, so it's going to pay for itself in no time at all, because LPG is half the price of petrol, so wonderful. And Mum was, well, okay, very good, okay, excellent. And to other members of the family, this was an ex-police car. It's got the biggest engine there is. It's got a 0 to 60 time in very few seconds. It's the most wonderful, fantastic car. So the fact that 3 times the fuel usage of any other car didn't matter when he was talking to Mum. I got to hear a little bit of both sides. But then it wasn't awfully long before there were a few rattles and squeaks on the Volvo and a few different bits, and then you'd hear that, well, yeah, it's needing a new turbo and it's needing something else as well, and it was parked up, and the wonderful, fantastic Volvo kind of got consigned to the repair berth where it stayed for quite some time. I think his next owner was the scrap man, actually. And then I remember one particular Sunday that was also fairly dramatic. It was when he got a friend from Sweden, I believe, wasn't it? And he was demonstrating his driving skills. I wasn't there at the time. I'm not sure whether to be pleased or not, but he'd shown her all sorts of different moves with this car, and as the last one, I'll show you what a J-turn is. Which went well until they hit the tree. That was one day that I did feel quite that there's plenty of moments in just a few years.
Well, Jim, thanks very much for inviting me and letting me be best man. That's quite an honour and a privilege, thank you. I'll cut some... But I suppose it's your day, so let's talk about you. Yeah. Congratulations on your wedding. Because I don't remember Elizabeth being born, but I remember you being born. And I also remember the most exciting thing was seeing Mum in an ambulance with blue lights on. It was very, very exciting. But when Dad and Mum said that they were going to have a baby, it really was. It felt like this was the best thing. It was like a puppy or a baby. They were both on the same level of excitement. We all sat around and tried to work out what name we'd call you, because. Then Jim started growing up. Of course, we weren't the coolest kids in town, and we used to go train spotting. We used to wear hand-me-down jumpers. We had a van, not a car. We were pretty square. So when Jim came along, it was no surprise that he rebelled slightly and bought a football and so when we were young, we had to wait till sort of 18 to get our lawnmower license and so on, and unofficial one. But then, of course, when James came along, he was like 7, and he was already straight out on the stuff because Dad had given up fighting. He's just crack on. And so one time we were always out he had four brothers. No, he didn't. 3 brothers and a sister. I lose count. We all, as law enforcers, led ably by Edward, but we all helped him out by dobbing in when possible. I remember he was going around Dad's orchard and he knocked over a tree, and I mean the tree was sort of yay round the middle, so I saw the tyre marks. It was obvious what had happened, so I did the honourable thing of supporting my brother, trying to help him out. I just went straight to Dad and dobbed him in, and so Dad went to speak to him, and I remember Jim, I said, "Oh, Dad's coming to speak to you," and he said, "It wasn't the lawnmower, it wasn't the Westford at all." Oh, that's interesting. I'll stick around to see how this goes. Jim's story involved a sheep. Somehow, the sheep had got through the fence, and then he described very carefully how the sheep had come with its teeth and bitten a tree in half, knocked it flat, then hopped back over the fence into the field. I think Dad felt so sorry for him because his story was so far-fetched. He kind of got away with it. Jim, when he was at school, he decided he wanted to be an undertaker, which is interesting. I don't know if you mentioned that before, have you? Okay, well I knew he did. I'm not sure if he still. I don't know if do you still want to be an undertaker? Okay, fine. There was a story about it. He went on work experience to them, and they, of course, he wanted to see a body. So I'm not sure how true this was. They said, okay, we'll show you your body. So they opened this fellow. It was like that. The fellow was like this. Oh, what happened to him? Oh, he's had a heart attack. Oh, okay, nice. So what about another one? The fellow's like this thin. Oh, he got run over by a steamroller. Oh, interesting. Yeah. He goes, oh, what about this one? And there's a fellow like this. And Jim's like, what happened to him? He got struck by lightning. So why is he? Oh, he's an Irishman. He thought he was having his photo taken. So anyway, as Jim grew up, we realised that he was going to be a bit of a character. He wasn't going to be a train spotter. And like when people die and they did crazy things, you're like, oh, what a character. And normally when they're alive, you go, oh, silly. So I decided some of Jim's funny things I've just put down as him being a character, a living character, and I just carry on. It's fun. I went round to his when he moved out of home, and he got a little cottage, and I went round one day and Jim wasn't one for, well, anyway, it wasn't. It was a bachelor pad. There's like a hot tub plumbed into the washing machine. There was also, and stuff worked, but and he thought that he put a bit of a log burner downstairs and then figured it was still cold upstairs. So as you and I might think about systems, Jim just got a saw and sawed a hole in the floor so the heat could come up. I'd love to see his landlord when he popped round. He went through a few cars. You read about his Volvo. He had a Vauxhall Astra 1.7 diesel estate, which it'd be good for going very slowly, but Jim was showing me how fast this van would actually go. Which wasn't particularly fast, but the road wasn't great. So on Christmas Eve, he managed to go over a hump and land so hard that he cracked the sump but didn't realise until Christmas Day when the whole of the front of the house was covered in oil. Jim had a cracking Christmas Day cleaning up oil. One day, actually, Mother doesn't know this one. He was at home, and it was a frosty night. In fact, I think it was Gareth Bennett's wedding, and we've been messing about till the early hours. And Mum was like, right, go to bed, don't drive home, don't fall asleep and stuff. And it's icy. So anyway, about 2 in the morning, Jim took off in his van. And about half an hour later, I got a phone call saying, don't tell anyone, I just... Oh, interesting. Anyway, it turned out it spun into a ditch. So I had to sneak downstairs. Right, yeah.
The next morning.
Oh, did he?
No,
Yeah.
you did.
Oh, I did. Oh, shoot. Sworn to secrecy, apart from everyone else. Yeah. So Jim moved into the cottage, this little cottage, and it was interesting. It was a bachelor pad, there's no doubt. Like a pool table, but nowhere to eat, and lots of clothes and stuff. But that was fine. I remember one time a family, which might have been ours, were dropping him off, and then I'm pretty sure this is true. And somebody who might or might not have been my sister said, "Please, can I use the toilet?" And he said, "No." She said, "But I need to." But he clearly hadn't done a sort of a sweep of the house, and was not prepared for someone to go in, and made my sister pee in a bush rather than go in his house. That is true, is it? Yeah. Eh? Right, yes. So Liz crouched behind a bush, and Jim felt no remorse. And it was at that stage we thought, this man needs a wife, but she's going to have to be robust of mind. I mean, strong of mind. That can keep him in line. You know what I'm saying. Stop messing with me. So when I heard he'd met a Canadian, I thought this could possibly work because I met a Canadian and she's my wife now, and I thought, aha, interesting. So I'm really glad that you're comfortable together. I can see that right from when I first met you two together, saw you two together, absolutely comfortable together. I can see you're completely at home here. What am I going to remember from days gone by? I think the one lesson the kind of nice lesson that I remember learning, one of those little things that you carry on in life, is I went to a country show with Jim, and he wanted to go on I would have been just started working, so I've got a wage. Jim was just got his pocket money, and he wanted to go on like a motorbike simulator or something, and he really wanted to go on it, and I said, "You go on it, I'm not paying for me because I'm not interested." And he didn't want to go on it without me, so eventually he said, "No, I'm not." The point there was he wanted to share the experience with me. He didn't want to just do it on his own and tell me what happened. He wanted to do it together, and I always remember that, because then as you go through life, we did various things together, and we're getting up at 3:30 in the morning one morning to go and watch the boxing because it was in Vegas and it was being beamed across to the UK. And 3:30 in the morning we drove into Lincoln in some classic Rover P70, a P5, which is an old classic car that someone had given him, and he was going to sell on, and it was supposed to be like wrapped in cotton wool. And we bounced into Lincoln at 3:30 in the morning amongst all these souped up Chevys and stuff, and we sort of got out, watched the boxing, went back. It's only you I could do that kind of stuff with. I remember I was going to a Valentine's dinner, and the person I was meant to go with, I didn't end up going with. And so I just called Jim and said, "Do you want to go?" And we went.
I'll just say that you didn't tell me it was a Valentine's dinner.
Oh, that's right.
Until someone asked if you were my significant other.
Yeah. That's right, I forgot that, yes. Yeah, do you want to come for dinner? Yeah, sure. Lots of couples, yeah? Yep. I remember being in, I think we were in Lincoln, and there was a bit of a fight broke out and a bit of a scuffle, and someone's getting a bit of a pasting, and Jim stepped in and saved the poor fella. And I always felt pretty safe with Jim because I'm not the biggest chap, but he's got a good size on him. I remember an incident with Lloyd's Bank. We'll talk about that later. But the point is, anyway, I enjoyed. There were things that I learned that day at the counter show, that it's about doing stuff together, and I found it in my relationship, and you'll find it the same. Just do stuff together, and even when you go shopping or in the evening, you just take a walk together. It doesn't matter that you've done the same walk. Not necessarily shopping. Okay. What I mean by that is ordinary day-to-day stuff. Just go for a walk, and it doesn't matter that you've done the walk 20 times. Just go again and enjoy one another's company. And you can. There's something about togetherness that you can be richer together. Enjoy.
Thank you. Next up is my mother and father, the ones who brought me to the role. Afton.
Well, yes, right. Yes. It's wonderful to have a wonderful wife. We're near the end of the day, I guess, but we want to welcome you all to this momentous occasion and thank you for your presence and being here and helping us celebrate. Special thanks go to the many that have travelled from overseas to be here. It's wonderful to see so many who have travelled across the Atlantic and three quarters of the way across Canada to be here. It means a lot to Joan and I. And I know it means a lot to Afton. If I counted correctly, there are 31 people here from the UK. Time and all the sacrifices you made to be here. The Ramsays have a reputation for being a prolific lot, but it seems that despite the ocean and land between in their absence, Jim would probably claim that they're just... It's the first time in my 42 years in Canada that 5 of us siblings have been in Canada at the same time. Thanks, Stuart and Rosemary, Duncan and Sue, Rosemary and Hugh, and Marjorie and Brian for being here with us. Special thanks also to Colin and Jill, and Alana, and especially for them for enduring the Canadian immigration hassle I had to get here. They went through a nightmare, but they're here. Special thanks also to Alan, Kerry, Harrison and Chantel for being here. I want to welcome Jim into our family. Getting to know you over the last 3 years has been pretty easy because of the generally positive outlook you have on life and your enthusiasm for whatever needs to be done, and your willingness to get to work on whatever project you happen to be involved with. You do need to learn how to drive fast machines, though, better. Trying to get the place ready for a wedding here was a roller coaster, alternating with optimism and despair, where the challenges, etc. And we're just about a week away from the wedding when there was still an insurmountable list of things to do. But at that point, several people came on the scene and saved the day. I would like to give a special thank you to all of those who just powered through and made the remaining list of what needed to be done a reality and got it done. I can't mention all by name, but special thanks to some of that group, including Charlie Crawford, Kyle Carpenter, Jane Collintone, Erin Furby, Chantel Poyser, Ruth and David, Colin and Jill, Ashley, Ellie, Phoebe, Toby, and of course, Jim. I don't think any of us can really grasp the magnitude of what Jim accomplished over the last few weeks in contributing to having the place ready. A sincere thank you to this group and to all the others that I didn't mention who worked so selflessly and tirelessly to get things ready for this day. A special double mention for Claudia for providing diversion for Afton with such tireless, selfless shopping expeditions. No, seriously, thanks for all you've done, Claudia. Thanks also to Keith and Judy for providing spectacular breakfasts for everyone as we got into the final stretch this week. It's been very special for Joan and I in meeting Jim's family, and his close friends are here with us for this special occasion. Before your arrival, some of you were just names, but now you've expanded our family and we are richer for it. As parents of the bride, it is hard to think 20 years have gone by since bringing this little bundle of joy home from the hospital. And she truly has been a bundle of joy for us. Today, again, I thought of a song that was sung at a very special wedding we were at a number of years ago. It was a song from the play Fiddler on the Roof. And lines of that song ask, is this the little girl I carried? Is this the little boy at play? I don't remember getting older. When did they? And that just seems to ring true. Joan and I just celebrated 36 years of marriage, so I think I can offer a little advice. A little advice and insight as you enter this new and wonderful next stage of life. Just make the most of every moment, because time surely does fly. Change is constant. Keep the joy and the love you feel today. Cherish it, feed it, enjoy it. But remember that time is fleeting. If you're privileged, as we have been, to have children, love them, protect them, and keep the most important things in life and truth central in your lives so that they grow up with the understanding that God is first place in your home, your love, and your lives. Just a bit more advice. You may have heard, Jim, the old myth that two can live as cheaply as one. Just not true. Another is that you are the boss. And that is only true on days that don't end in Y. Seriously though, continue to nurture your love of truth, and even when you have tough times, you will do well. Good days ahead. Love to you both.
Thank you very much, Mom and Dad. Next up, we have the prize peach. Cosette. There's a lot of things I was gonna say, but Cosette did work very hard these last couple weeks, organizing to as much or not much of our desire to listen to what her suggestions were. She is here, I am here, we all love each other, and we're very thankful for today.
Thank you, Callum. And thanks to Dad for softening the blow of my speech with all your excellent dad jokes. I Googled what a maid of honor is supposed to say, and I'm supposed to thank, but I'm not supposed to. I want to thank the best, so thank you. We're lucky on both sides with Jim. I taught him how to snowboard. It wasn't easy. I learned that he's very stubborn, which is a good thing because he didn't give up. Even though everyone who has learned how to snowboard knows that after the first few days you just have the sorest bum. Didn't give up. And I'm just thankful to Jim because I know I haven't made it easy on you getting to know me. We've had our scraps, but at the end of the day, I'm thankful that I have an ally in you when Afton's being impossible. I don't want to keep a very long speech, but I caught a glimpse of Uncle Duncan across the room, and it reminded me of a really memorable trip to England. Aaron was there, my cousin Thomas. It was his first time to England, and we had this rental car. And over the course of 1 week, we managed to be in a different city of Britain for every day of that week. And over that week, we managed to bottom out our car, get it stuck on a beach. Afton was driving the whole time. And the cherry on top was that we were driving one of my friends to the airport, and Afton put the wrong fuel in her car. And we didn't even make it a mile out the road before the car sputtered to a stop. And we had to call in two uncles, Uncle Duncan and Uncle Stuart, to come and rescue us. And they spent all afternoon fixing it. So a huge shout out again just to you for that. But the past few weeks actually, I've had a lot of fun working with a special cousin, Chantel. And I want her to come up right now because, don't worry Afton, we're gonna humiliate ourselves in front of you and sing. Just give me a moment, I have to get this set up.
Is that on?
You guys hear that back there?
It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart. Without saying a word, you can light up the dark. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. Best when you say nothing at all. All day long I can hear people talking out loud. I started too early. Poor Mr. Ramsey could never define what's being said between your heart and mine. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a look in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. Best when you say nothing at all.
Thank you very much. Well, folks, besides the bride and groom, that is all the speeches, so that's a bonus. Next, but not least, we're gonna do a cake cutting. That's an important part. Shout out to Claudia for doing this cake. I witnessed her making this cake yesterday. Very wonderful time. Might have tried the frosting, might have been unreal, never know. So I don't know how they want to do this.
Neither do I.
They're gonna get a knife, that's important.
You got that axe, Duck? You got the axe?
This wouldn't be a bad time to break out a joke. Wait till I can find it so I say it right. So what's a pirate's favorite letter? No, it be the sea! Thank you, Thomas and Kelsey, for that. I was hopeless. Any news on the cake?
Tastes pretty good.
Tasty. I will not sing. That will not happen. Those two are troopers for singing. That's a lot. Takes a lot more to sing in a crowd like this than it is to be part like this is. I'm very thankful for this day and the cake. You mentioned something about a cake. I heard there was going to be cake.
She just googled what a knife was.
It's not copper. What is this? Just so you know.
I'm actually surprised none of you mentioned all of that.
Afton and Jim's house to be. Everything in that house, it seems, is copper. Like Afton's gone through these phases as she's growing up. At one point, everything she owned, it was ducks and pigs. It had to be covered in ducks, had to be covered in pigs. And then there was stages like mustard colored, and then bird colored. And now it's the copper color. But nonetheless, cut your cake. One for you, one for me. If you guys want to take pictures, go ahead. Make like a cam, make it snappy.
I'm on my post-wedding diet. Yes. I chose pie over cake, but it's tradition, and so Claudia was kind enough to make us cake, so me and Jim are going to have a slice together.
Just so you folks know, the remaining events of the night doesn't mean it's the end of the night, but gonna do some cake cutting, maybe quickly get some pie, but don't take too long, and then Jim and Afton will say their parts. I will remind you to bring your bookmarks, your eucalyptus, your sparklers, and use your Snapchat filter. And after they are done their speeches, we will have a slideshow.
Great.
Unfortunately, no. So, if everybody else is ready for this, your groom's gonna give us a speech. Jimmy. I'm actually super happy when I heard your vows today, hear your full real name. Just so you know, nobody in Canada here, well, I speak for most of you, knew that that was your full name. Always been Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. Where's my knife to? That's an inside joke, but nonetheless. Give her. Oh, yes, sorry about this. I'm a rookie.
It's actually more scary stood up here than I thought. On behalf of me and Afton, we'd both like to say a huge thank you to everyone's efforts of coming over here and travelling. I had a little tot up of how many miles have been travelled for everyone to be here. And it actually adds up to 6.5 times around the world. And that's pretty amazing. And it really, really means a huge amount to both me and Afton of the enormous efforts that everyone has gone to be here just to celebrate our days, or our day. And that's amazing. When I came over here for the first time, I met Afton's parents, George and Joan, at their favourite restaurant, and they welcomed me just like I'd been here 100 times. And every day since then, it's just been like I've always been here. And I honestly can't say how great that is coming from England and not having any family here. I really don't feel that has been the case. You accepted me into your home and just opened your hearts and everything to me. And I can't say enough how much I appreciate that and value it, and the fact that we're able to have good jokes, British jokes, and that you do most of the time get my sense of humour, and the fact that we can have hearts about truth, and as we've heard about God, and I really, really appreciate that, and I know Afton does as well. So thank you very much indeed for just welcoming me here and just opening up your home and everything. And someone said to me, actually a few times people have asked me, have you got cold feet? There was only one time that if I could have got cold feet, it would have been, and that was the day that I actually asked George for Afton's hand in marriage. But he made sure that if I could get through that, there was a fairly good chance that I was actually being serious. So thank you very much again. Thank you very much to Mum for being here and for everything else along the way. As we've already heard, that we didn't always see eye to eye, didn't always have the best of relationships. But I'm really grateful that you stuck with me and didn't, palm me off. And to have you over here. When I rang my mum to tell her that we were engaged in true style of Crane as it is now, I said, Mum, I've got some great news for you. She goes, okay. I said, you're going to get a new daughter-in-law. Daughter-in-law. And she goes, oh, right. And then it was silence, and I said, so is that okay? Yeah, that'll be okay, yeah. And then she asked her name. And David as well, he stepped into our family about 7 years ago. I don't think he quite understood what he was actually getting himself into. Yeah, he was actually really dark hair 7 years ago. But all the help that you did to get me out of England and keep me here. We really appreciate it. Certainly I do anyway. I think Afton does as well. There's a lot of people that we invited and that weren't able to come over, which is a shame. There's a couple of people I'd just like to mention. My cousin Gareth Bennett, he wasn't able to come over. Annabelle, my best friend, she wasn't able to come over. And my other friend, Anna Harriman, they weren't able to come over, but I really appreciate what they've done over the years, even though they can't be here. I really appreciate them. There's a couple of other people that can't be here, and that have been hugely influential on my life and also on Afton's life. And they're not able to be here because God had different plans for them, better plans. One of them is my own father, and the other two are Afton's grandparents that have been hugely influential on both of our lives. So I'd like just everyone just to join me in a hearty round of applause to appreciate everything that they have done for us. So we come to the top table, and on both me and Afton, we'd like to thank all you bridesmaids for everything you've done. Kyle, you've been an absolute star right from the word go. When I first met you, the work you've done on our house, the work you've helped with, you're amazing. Thank you so much indeed. Aaron Ramsey now, thank you very much indeed for helping me realise that becoming part of this family was actually not as scary as some people have told me. And you've been amazing, and I love you loads and loads, and thank you very much for the warm welcome and everything you've given me. Aaron, I am very, very grateful, or should I say, we are extremely grateful for all the help that you've given us along the way, keeping us both sane at times, and all the effort that you've put in. We really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you very much. Claudia, I thank you very much. This is actually a really hearty thank you, because I managed to take Afton off for about 3 hours today without you. So thank you so much. I've got her for 2 weeks. I did put a request in. I will give her back when I get back. But thank you very much for the cake. I've actually just tasted a bit, and I'm actually quite keen to finish it off because it's great. And thank you very much for all your efforts. Cozy. Cozy, you've been amazing. As you said, we've had our ups and downs. But the long and short of it is you're Afton's sister and I love you. You've been unbelievably helpful with the wedding, and you put nothing but your best into it. You put great effort into it, and both me and Afton really appreciate it, even though sometimes we may not show over you. But thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Thank you. And on the other side, I have my groomsmen, and thank you very much, all of you, for being my groomsman and my best man. Rob at the end.
A new one.
Where's my mic to? When I first met Rob, it was in a Sunday morning meeting, and he came over to me and gave me the biggest bear hug that I've ever received. And he just said, "Welcome to Canada, brother." And I didn't quite know how to take that at the time, but ever since that very first time we met, you've just been Austin, thank you very much indeed again for being my groomsman, and thank you very much for calling me an idiot about 2 days after I met you. The problem is he was actually right. So 2 days after we met, he asked me what I did for a living, And he said, well, there's plenty of that sort of work in Canada, and if you don't move to Canada, you're an idiot. But he was actually true. And so welcomed me and treated me like a brother. You haven't taught me quite how to play golf quite up to your standards yet, but I still, you know, I'm still good at throwing it. So maybe we can like carry on at some point. So thank you very much indeed for being a groomsman and being a great brother-in-law. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Ashley, even though you're Irish, I won't give you too much stick. You've got enough problems with your rugby team. Me and Ashley have had some good days, very good days, and we've shared some pretty bad ones as well. But I've got to admit, through the years that I've known you, I've really respected you and looked up to you for just the way that you handle things. Just head on, straight on, and you see the best. And I'm not going to take any marital advice from you. But as friendship, I certainly would. And anyone that knows Ashley would know that he is an absolutely amazing person. And to be on this top table, he travelled over from England, obviously, and he went, pulled out all the stops to get here. So thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. And Colin, we've heard that you had some experiences getting over here, and then I planted onto you that you might be on the top table with me. So I hope that you'll come back to Canada and let us forgive us for it all. I met Colin about 2 days after I met Afton, and went into to the hotel that he owns, and he welcomed me along with his wife Jill and Alana, this one little here, with open arms, and just said, just treat it like your own home and carry on. And every time we've been to England, it's just been the same. Just every time, just come on in and make yourself at home. And I know Afton has stayed with you before and worked with you, and she really appreciates everything. And I really appreciate everything that you've done for both me and Afton while we've been in England, so thank you very much. And then we've got my best man, Andy. As we've heard, me and Andy have had some kind of amusing times together. And that was it. The only reason I kind of was a little bit hesitant about asking you to be my best man was because you kind of knew a little bit too much about me. But yeah, there's a reason I went after you. But I remember once Andrew brushing his teeth, and he's done it since then, but he brushing his teeth now. And I walked into the bathroom, and there he was. He got his top off, and he was bending over like this with his toothbrush. And I said, one day I want to have muscles like you. And he said, well, do you know how to get muscles like that? And I said, not really. He said, lots of sweep in the yard. Well, when we went to get a vest for him, he tried an extra small. And I am a little bit larger. So maybe you need to pick up the broom again. But thank you very much for being my best man. I really appreciate it. And for coming over here. He got flown in especially by the RAF. They have told him that he's got to walk home, but that's not too much of a problem for him. But thank you very much indeed for being my best man, being here, going fairly easy on me, and really appreciate everything. Thank you very much. I could go through everyone in this tent, and for various reasons. everyone has had different parts to play in either me or Afton's lives. I can't go through them all. We've actually had a list of thank yous already. But I'd just like to just reiterate on behalf of both me and Afton, Keith and Judy, thank you very much for everything you've done. Keith came in the other day and he said, is there anything I can do for you? And I said, no, everything's fine. He said, what needs to be done? I said, no, everything's under control. He said, what needs to be done? So I realised that I had to tell him what was left. And when I came back, everything was done. And I didn't need to ask him twice, I didn't need to explain anything, it was just done. And both me and Afton really appreciate that. We've heard yesterday and the day before, they came and cooked breakfast for everyone that was here. Now, you did a pretty good job of fattening me up, but thankfully I was under my wedding weight, so I was okay. That's kind of an inside joke, but since we got engaged, I wanted to get down to a weight, and when I did, I kind of let people know. And I think I mentioned it like 3 times since we got engaged. Maybe 1 or 2 more. But there's so many people here, and if I can read my own writing, there's Tom and Kelsey, thank you very much for your efforts. Ellie, Phoebe, Toby, and Ashley for getting everything set up. Colin, Jill, and Lana, Dane, Claudia, Callum, Howard, Charlie, who's been amazing, thank you so much. Chantel, Charles, Liz, Edward, and Callum. They have been amazing in getting... I said Callum! Callum, sweetheart. Thanks, Jim.
Sorry for throwing you off.
Not a problem. Actually, I would like to say a special thanks to Callum for making me feel pretty good about my golf game.
Let me stop, you're right there.
Without the people here today, both me and Afton just said this afternoon, while we're having a kip, doing fairly bored, passing time, we said today would not have been possible without everyone's help. And that is absolutely 110% true. So thank you very much, everyone. And I don't think I've actually mentioned Jane there. Jane has been unbelievable. And Shauna, thank you very much for everything you've done. Appreciate it. And the extra pictures, great. Thank you very much indeed. And these tables that you lot are eating on, most of you will realise that they're pretty awesome. They're not actually ours, but they are Kelby and Michelle's. They had them for their wedding, just in front of us here. And then, and Kelby's mother, where is she? Alice at the back. Thank you so much for the tables. They're just absolutely perfect. Afton had some ideas of what she wanted today, and I think it's pretty much exactly. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Tricia, for your contribution and being here. And I'm glad that you actually know some of my family, as well as Afton's. And the other 2 workers that we have here, Reese, Beverly, and Aaliyah. Oh, she's gone. Thank you very much indeed. It's been a great privilege to have you here today, so thank you very much. Uncle Elvin, whereabouts is he? Oh, he's there. Thank you very much for your music. We went and saw him a while ago and discussed music, and he was just you just tell me what you want and I'll do it. And Afton had a little tune that she wanted to play, and never heard it before in his life, and he said, I love it. And within about 20 minutes he was playing it to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed. I said I wasn't going around the whole tent, but Nathan, where's Nathan? Nathan back. Thank you very much for introducing us. I really appreciate it. Coming over to Canada for the first time, hopefully you've loved it enough and you'll come back to see both me and Afton. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much to everyone. I'm not going to go through anyone else's name because I'm getting glared at. Okay.
There's a family that's been...
Okay, yeah, there is a family. Jay and Jodie over on the right-hand side, they've been amazing. And they put up Ashley here and his 3 children. And I can't say how grateful I am for that. Open your home. They went out boating the other day, and they've just been amazing to everyone. So thank you very much indeed. And thank you to everyone for coming here. We know that there's been hard times and easy times, people getting over the other side of the pond. But every effort that's been made, we really, really appreciate it. And we hope that we'll be able to come and visit all of you very soon, whatever part of the world you're living in. We're going to be kind of making our nest here, hopefully. That's the plan.
I can smell cows behind me, so...
Say someone's getting nervous. But thank you very much indeed, and I appreciate everything everyone's done, and we look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. And now we'll hear...
Hang on a second, I do apologise. I actually didn't do the... Sit back down, dear. I've got an extra thank you for the bridesmaids here, because somehow we heard about the Ramsey time, and somehow this morning the photographers that came over to take a picture of me, and the most shocked I've ever been in my life was when Austin asked the photographers how the bride and the bridegroom were getting, the bridesmaid were getting on, and their reply was they're ready. Well, she's ready. I have never known that to be the case before. So thank you very much indeed for helping her, and Afton for turning up. You look. To be fair, my entrance I'd have enjoyed anyway, but standing on my own I'd have looked fairly silly. And you look amazing, and I'm really, really, really proud and happy to be your husband. And I'm so glad that you're now my wife, and I look forward to spending many, many years with you.
So I wasn't going to, but this one told me that it's what you do, and it is. My speech is actually over on my phone, which is being used to film this, so here it goes. First, I'd like to thank my flower girls, Sophia, Alana, and Olive. You guys are beautiful, and you're just down to help and get ready and have your hair curled, and I don't know where Olive is, but she learned to walk, so. Don't worry, I'll thank the bridesmaids, Cosette for just being just an unconditional love, although we show it in a different way than maybe you guys do. Yeah, she's been helpful. And Claudia, thanks for keeping me sane when I just need to, I don't know, pick up some more brass candlesticks at West Empton Mall. And for being here and getting your daughter ready and your family, and I just really appreciate it. Aaron, I think you probably know Highway 2 better than any person ever. Oh, there's a generator in the back. Drive up, drive back. Oh, there's something else that needs to be dropped off. She's there. It's amazing. Erin, she came back early from Turkey, which, this is nice weather, but like, Turkey? She came back early to be here, so that's amazing. And, wow. Kyle, you've just been there and also kept me sane, and he's being a bridesmaid, yeah. And you held a bouquet for me today. Like, I don't think you're just down for anything, and I really appreciate that. And Jane, she came over for a holiday and she got put to work.
Don't worry, we'll get it.
That arch down there, that was Jane and Kyle at 7 a.m. this morning. Chantel, also, let's come to Canada for a nice holiday. No, let's go pick stones in the rototilled field. They've got it. And just thank you, everybody, for everything. Like Jim was saying, this wouldn't have happened. Like, the kitchen would be a disaster if Ruth and David weren't here. This wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for my parents. This land, everything, it's just beautiful. Is Murray still back there? No. Well, he said that on Monday the weather looks sunny, and he said, well, it'll have to be because everything has to be perfect for Afton, so yay. But yeah. Thank you to everyone who's come from near and far. I've got people from Ontario, England, kind of Ireland, I guess. People that are going to be moving into new fields this year. It's incredible. And I appreciate every single one of you here so, so much. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Afton, and everyone else. I don't know if the caterers are here anymore, but food was delicious, and we should probably still give them a round of applause. And that dessert, that was no Costco pie. That was an exceptional pie. Exceptional pies from Dane's mother. Where's Dane now? I can't see. Those are great pies. It's been an amazing day. It's an amazing day to see my sister like this. I'm so thankful for both of you. And I'm probably going to cry too much, so I'm not going to say the rest of my speech, so let's have a slideshow.